Leaked images just dropped. And if they're real, Sony's about to change everything again. The camera world has been waiting, watching, wondering when Sony would finally answer the call. And now, after 4 years of silence, the evidence is piling up. The Sony A7 V isn't just a rumor anymore, it's a countdown. Welcome back to Alt Buzz, where we bring you the sharpest rumors and most reliable leaks from inside the camera world. If you enjoy staying ahead of the curve, hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next might just surprise even Sony's loyal fans. The Sony A7 IV changed the game back in 2021. It brought professionals and creators together under one body: reliable autofocus, clean video, excellent stills, and a price that made sense. But 4 years is a lifetime in camera technology. 4 years of Canon releasing the EOS R6 Mark II. 4 years of Nikon refining the Z6 III. 4 years of creators asking the same question: when is Sony going to respond? The answer, according to our sources, is mid-November 2025. And what's coming isn't just an incremental update, it's a statement. Sony doesn't refresh their core lineup without reason. They wait, they listen, they engineer, and when they finally move, they move with purpose. The A7 V represents that purpose. A camera designed not just to compete, but to dominate the hybrid full-frame market once again. Why now? Because the A7 IV, as excellent as it still is, can no longer hold the line against competitors who've leapfrogged Sony in key areas. Video specs that were cutting edge in 2021 feel restrained in 2025. Autofocus that was revolutionary then has been matched, and in some cases, surpassed. Sony knows this, and they're about to remind everyone why they've been the hybrid king for nearly a decade. According to one of our trusted industry insiders, who's been right before, the A7 V is already registered under the code WW899249. That's not speculation, that's documentation. Certification filings like this don't appear unless a product is real, finalized, and moving through regulatory approval. Our contact, who works closely with Sony's Asia-Pacific distribution network, confirmed that pre-production units have been circulating since late summer. Field testing is complete. Feedback has been integrated. What remains now is the marketing choreography, the carefully timed reveal that Sony has perfected over the years. Another source, tied to Sony's European retail strategy, mentioned that briefings have already begun with key partners. Store managers are being prepared, inventory allocations are being discussed. Demo units are scheduled to ship in early December, just in time for hands-on reviews before the holiday buying freeze ends. These aren't whispers anymore. These are logistics, and logistics don't lie. Then there are the leaked images, grainy, low resolution, but undeniably real. The grip has been redesigned, deeper, more pronounced, clearly intended for better balance with larger glass. The mode dial appears refined, possibly with a lock mechanism to prevent accidental shifts during transport. The magnesium alloy shell looks identical in material but subtly different in contour. Smoother transitions, more ergonomic curves. Weather sealing has been enhanced according to someone who handled a prototype. Gaskets are tighter. Port covers feel more secure. This is a camera built for professionals who shoot in conditions that don't forgive weak engineering. One detail that stands out: the EVF hump is slightly taller. That suggests a higher resolution electronic viewfinder, possibly the same 5.76 million OLED panel used in the A7R V. If true, that's a significant upgrade from the A7 IV's 3.69 million dot screen. Reviewers have long criticized Sony for not matching the EVF quality of their flagship models in the A7 line. The A7 V might finally address that gap. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, make sure to subscribe to Alt Buzz and tap Super Thanks or join our membership if you'd like to support our deep dive work. The sensor is where things get fascinating. 33 megapixels, full frame, backside illuminated. But here's the twist. Our sources suggest it's a partially stacked design. Not fully stacked like the A9 III or A1, which would drive costs through the roof, but stacked enough to deliver faster readout speeds and reduced rolling shutter. That's the sweet spot. High resolution for cropping and printing, fast performance for tracking and video, clean high ISO capability for low-light work. It's the Goldilocks sensor. Not too slow, not too expensive, just right for the A7 V's target audience. Dynamic range is rumored to exceed 14 stops in RAW, matching the A7R V, while maintaining the speed advantages of a lower megapixel count. ISO performance could reach a native ceiling of 32,000, expandable to 102,400. Though, as always, those extreme values are more marketing than practical. What matters is the usable range. And if the A7 V delivers clean files at 12,800 ISO, it'll be a low-light monster for event shooters, wedding photographers, and documentary creators. Color science remains Sony's well-guarded secret, but insiders hint at improved color accuracy straight out of camera, particularly in skin tones, an area where Sony has historically lagged behind Canon. Whether that's sensor side improvement or processing refinement, we won't know until samples surface. But the fact that Sony is addressing it at all signals they're listening to their most vocal critics. Autofocus has always been Sony's superpower. The A7 V takes that legacy further. AI-driven subject recognition now includes new categories: insects, trains, airplanes, expanding the system's versatility for niche shooters. Real-time tracking has been refined with deeper machine learning, allowing the camera to predict motion more accurately even when subjects momentarily leave the frame. One tester described it as eerily intuitive, noting that the A7 V held focus through complex scenarios that would have tripped up the A7 IV. Eye autofocus for humans and animals now works down to -6 EV, meaning it can lock onto subjects in near darkness. That's a game changer for indoor event work, stage photography, and wildlife shooting during golden hour. Coupled with the improved sensor readout, the A7 V should deliver confident focus in conditions where previous models hesitated. In-body image stabilization has been upgraded to 8 stops of compensation, a full stop better than the A7 IV's 5.5 stop system. That's not just incremental, that's transformative. Handheld shooting at 1-second exposures becomes feasible. Video stabilization without a gimbal becomes realistic. For solo creators working in run-and-gun environments, that extra headroom means fewer missed shots and smoother footage. By the way, our AltBuzz website is live, with exclusive behind-the-scenes articles and comparisons you won't find anywhere else. Links in the description. Video is where the A7 V truly flexes. 8K at 30 frames per second, full sensor width, 10-bit 4.2 internal recording, no overheating, no recording limits. This is Sony finally unleashing the video capability their sensors have always been capable of, but their product segmentation previously restricted. For years, creators complained that Sony artificially crippled their mid-tier bodies to protect the cinema line. The A7 V suggests that strategy is over. 4K at 120 frames per second? Yes, it's cropped, likely APS-C mode, but it's there. High frame rate, slow motion has become essential for modern content creators, and Sony knows it. Competitors offer it, Sony had to match. 4K at 60 frames per second remains uncropped. Full sensor width, with full autofocus and stabilization active. That's the sweet spot for most hybrid shooters. Resolution, frame rate, and usability all balance perfectly. For wedding videographers, this is the A7 IV's successor they've been dreaming about. Dual card slots with simultaneous recording, reliable autofocus that won't hunt during vows, IBIS that smooths handheld ceremony footage, 8K for future-proofing highlight reels, 4K 120 for dramatic slow motion, and a battery that can last an entire event day without swapping. This camera simplifies workflows while elevating output quality. Exactly what professionals need. For vloggers and content creators, the flip-out screen, improved autofocus tracking, and enhanced video specs mean fewer takes, better footage, and faster turnaround times. You're not fighting your gear anymore. You're creating with it. That's the difference between a tool and a partner. The A7 V feels like Sony finally understands that distinction. According to our most reliable source, Sony will announce the A7 V in mid-November 2025. Likely the second week, time to dominate the news cycle before Black Friday. Shipping begins in January 2026, with initial stock prioritized for North America, Europe, and Japan. Pricing is expected at $2,999 USD for the body only, a $200 increase over the A7 IV's launch price. Adjusted for inflation and the upgraded feature set, that's reasonable, aggressive even. Sony wants market share back, and they're pricing accordingly. Sony doesn't leak accidentally, but they also can't control every supply chain partner, every regulatory filing, every tester who shares impressions with trusted contacts. The pieces are out there. We're just connecting them. And the picture they form is exciting. Would you upgrade from the A7 IV or wait for the next flagship? Drop your answer in the comments. Tell us what feature would seal the deal for you. What would make the A7 V an instant buy versus a maybe next year? If you'd like to support our growth, hit subscribe, send a super thanks, or join our membership like Byron did, and you might see your name in the next shoutout. That's everything we know and everything we think about Sony's upcoming A7 V. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to Alt Buzz for more upcoming leaks and insider stories. If you'd like to support our work, send a super thanks or join our membership to get featured in our next video. We've also tagged some Sony accessories below: batteries, memory cards, cages, and filters that pair perfectly with the A7 lineup. Check them out if you're building your kit, and tell us what products you'd like us to feature next. This is Alt Buzz, where the future of photography gets revealed before the press release drops.